From all across eastern Iowa, these are your hometown heroes. And this is the Eastern Iowa OT.
One more stupid mistake. Right here. Let's go! That's it.
An abundance of new head coaches in Eastern Iowa this fall, from Travis Bark to Kyle Brock, from Eric Addy to Matt Hattie to Joe Hadachek. Two former NFL players, two guys with relatives on the Hawkeye football team, no less than 20 first-year men on the sidelines in our corner of the state. A score of new coaches and bringing a healthy share of scoring to Eastern Iowa. We begin week 2 with a pair of programs welcoming in first-year men. Eric Addy coming over from Des Moines North to help resurrect a Wash team that just had its worst season this century. Linn-Mar, their former coach, left too late in the game to find a replacement, so they're working with co-head coaches this fall, Ben Martins and Chad Tompkins, shepherding this Lion team that's got hopes of making a run in 5A. Coming off a 50-0 win over Dubuque Senior last week. They've outscored Wash 115-26 over the last 3 seasons. But can Eric Addy build a turnaround like he did with the Polar Bears? Now their defense is holding this thing together in the first quarter. After forcing a fumble on Linn-Mar's first drive, it's another takeaway on the second drive. Cassius Ballou Batty. Interception and return down to the 6-yard line. Only a field goal managed by the Warriors. Niner. Logan Barton, nothing finer. Wash gets a 3-0 lead. Then on Linn-Mar's third drive, this is unbelievable. It's their third turnover of the quarter. Brock Davis falling on the recovery, but Linn-Mar's defense doing their own dirty work in spite of 3 turnovers, only surrendering those 3 points in the first. Now in the second, Linn-Mar getting its groove back. Austin Waller playing his first snaps at QB. Wow, over the top to Landon Sword. 60-yard touchdown connection, and Linn-Mar is moving. After Wash accidentally kneeled down their own punt attempt, Lions had the ball deep in the red zone. Tyree Alons reaching across for his first touchdown of the season. 14-3 Linn-Mar. These guys got a lot of ways to hurt you. Dylan Musgidinsky, a 32-yard touchdown run. When they're not turning the ball over, this offense is pretty dang formidable. 41-10 Lions win this game. Now, Kennedy's a team that's got a lot of talent, a lot of potential behind this Cougar squad that hung with Dowling last week. They play an imposing schedule, the kind of team that might not have the best record come the postseason. They're still a playoff threat. Down 21-20 in the third. PV is driving. Traditionally not a big passing team, but they'll still go to the air when it suits them, and this will suit them just fine. Harrison Fierce to Cameron Lemoyne. The Spartans go up 28-20. Brian White trying to get something figured out. Is this going to be it? A drive starting on their own 3-yard line. Vinny Gianforte, vintage Vinny, driving the Cougs down the field. The future Drakesman maybe giving his team a chance to tie the game, but nope, that guy's wearing the white jersey. It's Lemoyne again, this time with the interception. Kennedy had a 20-14 lead in the second, but give up 21 unanswered points down the stretch. The Cougars now 0-2 and in bad need of a win next week when they face Linn-Mar. Cedar Rapids Prairie and Dubuque Senior, pair of teams that took it on the chin in week 1. The Hawks have won 3 straight against the Rams. Opening drive for the P-Hawks. Taylon Jackson, talented senior, back with a big gain for the road squad. Prairie moving right down the field on this first drive. Wyatt Eash, unleash the Eash. 1-yard touchdown run puts the Hawks ahead 7-0 after the first. Now in the second, still pushing that ball downfield. Brandon Brune, big old chunk play to get into the red zone. They'll end the drive with a touchdown pass from East to David Faison, kid who was playing at Wash last fall. His old squad's 0-2. His new team gets his first win of the season, 41-21 over Senior. At the college level, it is so hard to discern any real opinions from week one. Take the Hawkeyes, for example. Is a 40-0 win a sign of things to come? We're just taking advantage of a lesser opponent. The same is true at the high school level. City High lost by 28 last week, but at the hands of one of the most prestigious teams in Illinois. Liberty looked great in week one, scoring 56 against Iowa City West. Their defense still gave up 45 points. Who are these teams? Could take a few weeks to decide. We do know that Liberty's got the principal's bell in their trophy case for the first time. Now trying to hold on to the Battle of Zeus, a gorgeous piece of hardware on the line at Bates Field. Liberty came ready to retain Zeus. Junior QB Reese Reddick pitching to Owen Drapeau, who's able to reach in for the first touchdown in this Clash of the Titans. Reese Reddick, great quarterback for this team, lofting a pass up and over the line of scrimmage to find senior Sutton Kohler, one of the best wideouts in the state, sprinting down the sideline, almost struck out of bounds by Connor Cross, but lightning struck twice in quarter one. The Little Hawks answering back with QB Bobby Bacon, pitching to sophomore Chase Newton, who heaves one to Parker Sutherland for the touchdown. Reddick and Kohler, what a connection these two are. Kohler taking this one to the house, or in the Battle of Zeus, I guess we could call it the Parthenon. The Little Hawks able to answer, though. They get Bacon, sizzling Bacon action. Bacon is faking a handoff, and he rolls backside and delivers to Blaine Hike. But Liberty, now these guys find an answer. Reddick hits a jumper to Kohler as he turns on the Jets again across the field and down to the end zone for his third touchdown of the night right before halftime. Iowa City to Liberty. Maybe these guys are the real deal. 49-20, the Lightning win big at City High. Now Iowa City West and Urbandale. Only one meeting on the record between these programs. Jayhawks beat West on the road last year. The Trojans boast an armada of future Division I weapons. This kid's a junior. Henry Elser, major pass-catching threat, gets the big gain. A lot of colleges will want this kid, Julian Manson, with a touchdown catch over the middle. Iowa City West might have the chance to make some noise in Class 5A this season. Offense certainly is not going to be an issue. The Trojans on their home field with a 34-28 win over Urbandale for their first win of the season. These guys are going to be on the road next week at Muscatine. In Cedar Falls, they've been Johnston's heel the last 2 years. Tigers always find a way against the Dragons. Will that trend hold? The Tigers are the first on the board. Leighton Wolf. The hour of the Wolf is upon us, finding Coach Brad Rimmert's son, Will, down to the 1-inch line. DeVarian Clark finishes that drive with a touchdown. Much like that sub-state baseball game, these same teams played that went like 14 innings. This game goes triple overtime. Cedar Falls does it again, 37-34. The Tigers stun the Dragons. A couple more scores will bring you from Class 5A. Cedar Rapids Jefferson, 2-0 this year now with a 28-7 win at Marshalltown. Second straight year Jeff started 2-0. It has been a long time since they went 2 straight years starting the year 2-0. And Waterloo West, those guys are 2-0 after they beat their rivals from East last week, 26-7. The Wahawks now 2-0 this year. We'll drive down Highway 20 gives us the game of the week. Western Dubuque and Waller, the team that's been there and the team that's trying to get there. We're rolling at the Rock Bowl after the break. And it's the Mitch Fick Spectacular. Xavier, Williamsburg, a state champion from each of the last 2 seasons. Who's getting the edge down in the Berg? He's a crazy Mitch, and he's in with highlights coming up.
You're still sliding out 2 by 2. You're waiting for number 2 to run a sit route. He's looking where you are. All right, they've run it 3 times.
At Dubuque Waller, they will not even say the name of their biggest rivals. West Delaware? No, they're Manchester. Western Dubuque? Not a chance. They'll be called Epworth, thank you very much. Schools separated by only 16 miles. That's our game of the week. We'll say the name. Curtis Fader has highlights from the Rock Bowl.
We have a field storming at Rock Bowl Stadium. Waller, confident all offseason, finally getting to show that off as they take down the defending Class 4A state runner-ups.
Daddy's money!
That team will be Western Dubuque, who Waller only refers to as Epworth, and the Bobcats prove their worth early. They drive down the field to snag a field goal to end a gritty first half with a 9-7 lead. But in the second half, the Golden Eagles lock in. Michael Borman takes this one plus contact to the house, giving Waller the lead back in the third. Meanwhile, the Bobcat offense was stifled. Tom Scher introduces Tanner Anderson to the ground. Speaking of Scher, how about numero uno, taking the carry in the third quarter and not looking back? You ever get hit by a bench player in excitement? I have. Western Dubuque tried all they could to claw back in this game, but the Golden Eagles stayed a step ahead, creating 3 second-half turnovers. Waller pulls off the stunner, beating Western Dubuque 28-16, and we are storming the field tonight.
It'll be nice for the next 48 hours, but come Monday, we're going to have to move on. So maybe after the year, we can reflect as far as what this does for us. But super happy. Can't wait to celebrate with our players.
Reporting in Dubuque, I'm Curtis Fader, Eastern Iowa OT.
In about 8 years, I think, since Waller beat Western Dubuque. That's a big win for them. Well, Williamsburg and Xavier, they present two contrasting styles. The Raiders threw for over 250 yards and 6 touchdowns in week 1. The Saints just 100 yards in the air and 1 touchdown. Diverging offensive styles united in the bloodline of our own Mitch Fick, who's in the studio with highlights from the W.
I saw so many people I know tonight, Owen, including Tate Schaefer's mom, so I got to give the point. Nobody better to our boy Tate. Mom's high school got the best in mind last year at Saints Field in week 2. This year, they take things to Iowa County. Raider Nation packed Bob Murphy Stadium for the occasion. Austin Blyce, your honorary captain for the Cyhawk game, but first he's got to coach up the Berg O-line. First quarter, Saints up 6-zip. Grant Hocker up top to Race Heitman. Jeez, this kid. Heitman goes Heisman, per usual. Williamsburg grabs a 7-6 lead. Xavier responds on the ground, though. Carter Hoffman showed a spark last year as a sophomore. He's a junior. And running free down inside the Raider 5 with this burst. A couple plays later, Cash Parks. You talked about him last week, only throwing for 100 yards. More than tripled tonight. Hits Aiden Miller for the first of his 3 TD passes, too. Saints jump back up 13-7. Second quarter, Hocker to Heitman. Might as well keep doing it. You saw him go off on South Tama last year with those 4 touchdowns in 7 minutes. Put 2 guys on him. Throw a flag. Doesn't matter. Came down with it. Xavier's defense, though, into the first half really gets tough. A string of sacks, including this one. Shout out Owen Vasquez. He hit 3 field goals in the first half of the Saints, including one he banked in at the very end. Xavier gets the revenge on Williamsburg with a 29-27 win. Parks throws for almost 350 in this one. That's probably up there with the most Xavier's seen in a single game. There's the doink in. Saints are 2-0, staying on the road in week 3 with a trip to Western Dubuque or Epworth, depending on where you are. Raiders go to 1-1. They head to Clear Creek Amana next Friday. Speaking of.
Hey, these are our boys again. Clear Creek Amana's rebuild under Lance Peterson appeared right on track in week 1. Impressive win for the Clips over Marion, but in their entire recorded history, they have never once beat Solon. The Spartans are the standard by which 3A and 4A teams are measured. Lance Peterson knows his team well from his time coaching over at Mount Vernon. Helped the Mustangs break a lengthy losing streak to the Spartans. Can you do the same with his new team in Tiffin? Jumping right into the second quarter. CCA defense coming through. Nolan Howell, interception. Big play there for CCA. And then it's their transfer QB who came over from Solon, Conlon Poynton. Sneaking this one across the goal line to hurt his former squad. Solon, though, they are just a wrecking ball. They're going to be so good this year. Owen Einwalter on the receiving end of this pass. He's like the 3rd Owen player we've seen in the show. Gotta love all these Owens out there. Then it's Steady Eddie Johnson, who set a school record tonight with 5 touchdowns. Spartans tripling up CCA with a 42-14 win in Tiffin. A few more 4A scores to show you. Decorah, number 9 in the state, they beat West Delaware 31-25. So many hopes around what West Del can do this year. The Hawks are now 0-2, but better days ahead for them, I'm sure. Waverly Shell Rock on their home field, unable to pull the upset over North Scott 38-24, the final. Got a rematch of the 2016 2A state semis between Mount Vernon and Union. That game at the Dome was the last time the Knights scored a point against the Mustangs. Outscored 69-0 over the last 2 meetings. Opening drive, Mount Vernon picking it off, taking this one back to the crib. The Mustangs wasted no time putting 6 on the board. That was senior A.J. McDermott on the play, but the good start for Mount Vernon doesn't last. Penalties racking up, and the Knights capitalize. Colton O'Connor using that long frame for the pick. Here come the Knights. Justice Luke toe tap swag to stay in bounds, gets those chains moving up the field. QB Andrew Sadler here showing off the wheels, but it wouldn't be enough for a first down. The first quarter ends 7-0. Mustangs ahead. On to the second. Mustangs starting to find a groove. Cooper Hurd getting a quick run for a gain of 12, but doesn't stop there. Hurd again, playing receiver this time. Give him another 12-yard gain from the air. And if the boy's hungry, let the big dog eat. Hurd caps off the drive, running it in for a touchdown. Mount Vernon wins big at home, 43-6 final. Other 3A scores, we've got Independence with a 41-27 win over Crestwood. Indy now 2-0. Those guys putting up some big numbers this year. Benton also scoring 41 points. They dropped Marion to 0-2 now with a 41-13 final. Still more to come on Eastern Iowa OT. Never want to underestimate an opponent. North Linn, probably not going to do that against Postville. The Lynx lighting things up in Troy Mills. And could Iowa Valley be our next Eastern Iowa 8-man team to make a run at the Dome? Big Week 2 test for the Tigers. Marengo Mitch Fick is back in the studio when we return.
When you get down there, make sure you're breaking down, okay, and sprint. Okay, we got to sprint. Get them out down here, all the way down here.
Let's go. We got to get this stop and give the offense a chance to go up.
Gladbrook rhymes as rebel, fighting for victory. Fight!
North Linn at Troy Mills is Eastern Iowa's title town. Basketball, baseball, softball. Hardly a school year passes without the Lynx adding a championship to their trophy case. But football is a surprising absence on their resume. This same school that's played in 7 straight boys basketball championship games has never even made it to the Unidome. They've got some youth on this team, solid group of returners. A deep postseason run might not be far off for North Linn. Postville, on the other hand, in a tough half-decade for the Pirates, a 34-game losing streak coming into Week 2. Doesn't start well for the Pirates either. They're already down 7-0. North Linn on the 1-yard line. The quarterback, Will Sommerfeld, using the body, sneaks it in for 6. The Lynx missed the PAT, so it's 13-0. North Linn leading. Later on in the second, Postville has the ball on the 45. Cedric Navarro trying to throw the screen pass, but it's picked off by Cole Griffith with open grass in front of him. Takes it back for a pick 6, making it 25-0 North Linn. And after another interception by the Lynx, on the next drive, they're in the red zone where they run an end around to Hayden Schmidt, who looks like he's going to run it in, but instead throws it to Cole Griffith in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. The losing streak continues for Postville. North Linn, they're now 2-0 with a 48-point win. A couple more scores from Class 1A to show you. Grundy Center with a 43-7 win over AP. Grundy's looking good this year again at number 1 in the state. Dyke New Hartford getting their first win of the year, 27-0, as West Branch drops to 0-2 on this early season. 2 weeks of 70-plus point outputs has people talking about Iowa Valley football. The boys in Marengo were once a powerhouse among Class A and 1A, but haven't made that deep run since they transitioned to the 8-man game. Is this a year they've been waiting for? Mitch Fick is back in the studio for a top 10 tango in Marengo.
8-player is where all those points are, and I turned off my mic.
Oh, Mitch,
boy,
hurry.
Hang on, live TV, and we were heavy too. We were heavy. We were 44 seconds heavy coming into this. Are we good?
Are we good? Oh, okay.
There, I can hear you.
Let's just get to the highlights. Spoiler alert,
Roland.
there weren't any touchdowns. I got here, I could be here for 1 quarter before having to go to Williamsburg. I figured it's 8-player. We're going to get all the touchdowns in the world. You get sacks, though, here. Owen Smith, another Owen. Caleb Hawk on the opening drive of the game. They set the tone early. Iowa Valley trying to get this offense going for me, but Adam Stafford, 6'7", 330 of them for Waco. Nobody getting anything going early on, but you just saw Iowa Valley's big guy. So Noah Kriegel's going to go up top to him. 6'9", Caleb Hawk with the hands, but we are scoreless after the first, so naturally, there's your final score, 56-35. Sorry to the booth for not having my mic on. Tigers head to New London for their 4th game of 2024 next Friday. Waco looks to bounce back from their first loss of the season. They host Winfield Mount Union. Sorry about the microphone again.
Rookie move. Come on. Gladbrook Rhinebeck lost their season opener, getting back on the horse Thursday in Tripola. The Panthers, a team wearing the protective shells around the helmets. They're the first team I've seen wear this in uniformity. Very interesting. Rebels already on the move. QB Drew Eilers with a fake out, gets sprung by lineman Michael Boyd, who took out 2 Tripola defenders with 1 block. 48 yards later, Eilers breaks the tape. Rebels with a 21-0 lead in the opening quarter. After a 3-and-out for Tripola, Hudson Clark is back for the punt return. I've got a fever, and the only prescription is more I should say Hudson Clark. The Clark effect takes Tripola. Touchdown return for the junior to make it 27-0. Eilers and Clark are a lethal combination in 8-man football. Final seconds of the first quarter, they cap off a 5-touchdown first. End of the night, a 70-burger on the board for the boys of blue and white. Rebels win their first game of the season. Last game of the night, taking the last train to Clarksville. Indians playing their first home game against Slam Dunkerton, the home team, with a commanding lead in the third. Running back Caven Keelman bulldozing a defender at the goal line. He had a pair of touchdowns in this game, but there is a bad Moon on the rise in Clarksville. Sophomore Nathan Moon hitting your eye like a big pizza pie. Moon scores 5 rushing touchdowns, 191 yards on the ground, a 52-point win for Clarksville. Might be approaching a place in the state's top 10 before long. Well, last week we got a blocked field goal scoop and score for our play of the week. Who's rising to the occasion as the Cy-Hawk game looms about 14 hours away? We'll wrap it all up after the break right here on Eastern Iowa OT. With the Cy-Hawk game coming up in a matter of hours, we've got a good chance to be talking a lot about special teams over the next 48 hours. Block field goal return for a touchdown was our play of the week in week 1. Let's get another special teams POW in week 2. Gladbrook, Rhinebeck Jr., Hudson Clark. We just saw this kid in the last block. Hudson Clark, Hudson Clark, a Clark attack. Punt return touchdown for this electric Rebel team. Lots of wins in their foreseeable future, and a win for Hudson on Thursday night as he is the winner of our play of the week. That is a wrap on week 2 of Eastern Iowa OT. Appreciate you joining us. Got a lot more coming from our big game of the week in week 3. Make sure you join us for lots of coverage of the Cy-Hawk game on KGAN. Have full coverage at 6, 9, and 10 o'clock on Saturday. We'll see you then.